Welcome to PLUSone, the series where I look at the free monthly games on PlayStation Plus and tell you if they're worth the download. After all, the games may be free, but your time is valuable. Today we're opening up the list of August free games with Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, a 2013 downloadable add-on for Assassin's Creed 4 that in 2014 became its own standalone game. You control the former slave-turned assassin Adewale a few decades after we first meet him in Black Flag. I can't tell you much more. I stopped playing Assassin's Creed after Brotherhood, so, yeah. Much of the questline in Freedom Cry, as the name implies, is focused on freeing slaves and fighting back against the slave trade that dominated the Caribbean during the 18th century. Although when I say quest line, it's more like quest dot. I played the game for a little under an hour, the first 20 minutes of which were bugged to hell and prevented me from actually completing one of the main missions, and another 20 minutes of which were me just screwing around in the overworld, and even still, I completed more than a third of the game's story. You could, without exaggeration here, complete the narrative in an hour. And what's worse is that narrative is not at all gripping to me. I'm not counting this as a huge knock against the game. I didn't play Black Flag after all, so I don't know Adewale's full backstory. However, Freedom Cry does nothing to make him or anything in this narrative stand out. The dialogue mixing is really poor, to the point that I actually couldn't hear what characters were saying even with my volume cranked up. The voice acting that I did hear feels lifeless. It all reminded me why I started and stopped playing this entire series within the same year. It all feels incredibly phoned in. At the very least, Freedom Cry's gameplay is actually not very good either. I love the side missions all focusing on freeing slaves. This actually made me care more about Adewale than the main missions did. And I do have to admit the game's Caribbean setting did click with me as well, to an extent. It's no Rome, but it feels like a breath of fresh air to come to this instead of go back to one of the many cities in Assassin's Creed. But the combat mechanics feel clunky, the climbing mechanics feel clunky, the collision detection feels clunky. None of the enemies that you fight are remotely a challenge despite the clunky fighting. It just is. It's certainly a game, but that's pretty much all I can say about it. There are just about as many trophies in this game as there are missions, and they'll take you just about as long to get them all. Full completion on this game I can't see taking more than an afternoon. At 7 gigs in size, it's also going to eat up a little bit of space on your hard drive for an experience that is ultimately totally forgettable. If you're a big Assassin's Creed fan and you haven't played it yet, give it a download. It certainly isn't the worst thing I've seen come out of the series. If you're not a big fan, just skip it. For the large majority of players, this is something that I wouldn't recommend you plus one to your collection. Which Assassin's Creed game is your favorite? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button and share it with your friends. And if you want to watch one of my regular reviews, click that little annotation on the left side of your screen.